And now I've lost my train of thought. They need to get in there so they can sort this piece out. Is this still on? No, I mean. If you're struggling with finding meaning and a reason why you are high sensory, highly sensitive, first of all, I really understand that. And secondly, there is something that you can do about this. Hi, my name is Willow McIntosh. I'm the founder of Illuminance, and I'm an HSP facilitator. And the reason I can help with this area is because of the work that I do. I have spent many, many years working with high sensory people, highly sensitive people, in order to reframe this piece around feeling out of place, feeling different, feeling like there's something wrong, into an experience of meaning and purpose. I had to go through this journey myself. I didn't have a choice. It was do that or something terrible was going to happen, if mentally and emotionally for me, if I didn't get my head around this piece. I've dedicated my time and my life to supporting other HSPs to figure this piece out. And before I go into this video, I just want to share with you, there's an opportunity where you can come in to the Illuminance community without charge, and you can watch or join one of these sessions where I take an HSP through this facilitation process that I have developed over the years. The reason why we tend to have such a hard time as a high sensory person is because we are just not aware of the importance and value of how we're processing and seeing the world. So the greatest breakthrough that happens during these sessions is that often for the first time, an HSP is able to begin to articulate their experience in terms of their sensory awareness and what that actually means for them and what it's actually doing for them and through them. So what can we do to begin to figure that out for ourselves, and how can we begin to develop this awareness either following one of these sessions or just through our own experience of ourselves? And it's to do with the symbols in our sensory awareness. On a day-to-day basis, what's happening is we are constantly being given clues as to what our HSP gifts and abilities are, which are all around the ability that we have to process more deeply. So the way in which that's happening at an individual level is aligned with an area of life that really fascinates and interests us. And I talk about this a lot, but you can't talk about this too much. You can't experience this too much. It's a relationship that has to be built with us for the duration of our lives. The relationship with our ability evolves. So the symbols in our sensory awareness are moments during the day where we're actually being fed information and shown the way in which we can see more deeply into a particular area of life. So what's an example of that? So for instance, the the most common way in which this works, and I'm going to give you a specific example just in a second. The most common way in which this works is we're actually seeing more deeply into the reality of something. So if you consider how the world is working around us, it is very easy for us as human beings to get lost into our imagination and get lost into the meaning of things, where we make up what's happening in our world around us, which is partly why we're all having a very unique experience, and the way in which our consciousness works is unique, which is the value of each of us. However, we can also get lost into the busyness of our heads, and we can actually lose touch with reality. We can lose touch with the truth of nature that is happening around us. HSPs have the ability to see more deeply into the truth of reality. So if you are a scientist, for example, or perhaps a psychologist, or you're doing extensive work into a particular area of life to find the truth in something. So for instance, perhaps there's an illness that's happening, or there's a common mental illness that is causing a lot of problems throughout humankind. And of course there are many of those, and we're working deeply on those. So as an example of the truth of nature of things, is we start to understand the way in which nature's operating at a deeper level within a particular area. So for instance, if we're looking at something that is causing problems, we're looking at some kind of imbalance, by doing a series of tests and controls and a deep dive into the fabric of what's going on, we figure out what the truth is behind the nature of the problem. That is how we've got as far as we have in the development of our conscious awareness as human beings. It's why we have all the technology and the advancements that we have, because we're figuring things out. We're working out the structure of how reality is actually working around us and how we can use that to our advantage. So HSPs have the ability to see more deeply into that fabric. In other words, how we can actually see and experience the data points around us that help us to reveal these areas of truths within us. So this is what I mean by the symbols that are showing in our awareness. The breakthrough that happens during these facilitation sessions is when a high sensory person suddenly realizes where all the pieces of the puzzle go in how their conscious awareness is working. So let's say, for instance, that psychology is an area of fascination for a particular HSP, or for you, for instance, and you're deeply fascinated by the way in which human consciousness works and how people's thinking and emotional responses happen and how all those pieces fit together. What's going to be happening for you is you're going to be noticing experiences in the world around you and in people around you that are actually giving you glimpses into the deeper truth of their psychology. You have to witness this to believe me, and that is why I'm inviting you to at least just watch one of these sessions, or to join one, so you can see how this is actually working. Because once you get a glimpse of how it works in someone else, you'll be able to piece the pieces of the puzzle together in how it's working in you. So these insights are my invitation for you. Notice what you keep noticing. When you get this intuitive glimpse about something, when you receive a bit of information, you'll notice that there is a pattern happening. You'll notice that these keep happening in a particular area. It's linked with what fascinates and interests and enchants you as an HSP. So think about the main areas of our senses, what we're feeling, what we're seeing, what we know, what we hear at many different levels, and begin to allow yourself to enjoy and immerse yourself in this sensory experience that you're having. What are these glimpses? What are these symbols in your awareness that are actually giving you a powerful insight into the area of life that you are most suited to be serving, the area of life that you can make a difference in, the area of life of how you can actually utilize your purpose. And through that, everything starts to change for us. It is there in this immersion in our sensory awareness. I see it in every single HSP that I facilitated, and it was the greatest breakthrough that I had in my life to reveal the ability that I have to facilitate truth of self in others. All of those symbols kept happening in my experience as I was growing up and as I came into my adult years, but I just wasn't taking it seriously. I didn't understand the value of it. I didn't have someone like me to stand in front of me and go, hey, by the way, what you're seeing and what you're noticing and what you're feeling and what you're registering are the pieces of the puzzle of your high sensory gift and ability. It has great value and you are here for great things. This is my message for you. So I hope to see you there. It would be my pleasure to invite you into the community and to help support you in gathering these pieces together so you can truly find meaning, yourself, fulfillment and happiness as a high sensory person. See you next time.